They're gonna kill the love of my life. Casey! If I don't go back to what I was doing.
On February 24th.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me. Then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous!
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain, for love.
Collide. In theaters February 24th. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.
48 WABC.
There could be an explosion at any time.
Get in, get truth. 77 WABC.
I'm gonna say let the audience sing, okay? I want a holiday tune. Can I not have one? We're missing some of this logo, but it is what it is.
All right, that was some of the highlights, or maybe lowlights. Mariah Carey on New Year's Eve on WABC. I want to remind folks, especially sports fans here in New York, big football game this weekend, Giants and Packers. Christopher Mad Dog Russo, part of that legendary Mike and the Mad Dog combination, joining us in the 11 o'clock hour. But with Mariah Carey making big news, and of course, like every year, celebrity deaths and all that stuff, we bring on a guest now. She's really terrific. Entertainment Tonight co-host, does a great job as a contributor for Headline News and CNN, was on CNN all weekend long. A good friend of mine from down in Florida, the proud Missouri Tiger, Nichelle Turner. Nichelle, you're on Bernie and Sid in New York. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Can we talk football instead of Mariah?
Absolutely. Who do you like, the Giants or the Packers?
Well, since I'm on WABC, I guess I have to say the Giants, huh?
Good answer, Nichelle.
Yeah,
Excellent answer.
exactly.
Brilliant, as a matter of fact. So, we will get to the Giants. We'll ask you some of your thoughts on that. But in the meantime, the Mariah Carey thing just exploding. It has exploded. She's denying it. First of all, here's the question. Mm-hmm. They're saying, her people are saying, hey, she wasn't lip syncing. She was singing to a track.
Right.
What do you say to that?
Well, I will say this. It's a little bit of a minutia, but it is a difference. I mean, there's a difference when you sing to a track, and a lot of artists sing to tracks when they perform, especially if there's like inclement weather or it's cold or something like that. They'll sing to a track. And that means they're still singing live, but they do have background vocals. If you're lip syncing, you're just not singing at all. So there's it's a little bit of a difference, but it is a difference. So what they're saying is she wasn't lip syncing, she was singing to a track. So you were still hearing Mariah's voice, but you were also hearing pre-recorded background vocals.
Now, there were some points, though, where you saw where she stopped moving her lips and you could still hear her singing. So she was lip syncing at times, so I'm not sure about that defense. But
Go ahead.
Well, in any case, she got busted. But my thing is they could have cut to commercial and sort of helped her out, but they left her hanging out there, even in the middle of all that stuff.
Yeah, they let it go. I mean, I think that in the moment, I'm not sure anybody really knew what was going on. But you're right. They could have cut to commercial. They decided not to. They decided to let it play out, and we saw the debacle that followed. It just got worse and worse and more painful until Mariah just said, yeah, screw it. I'm out of here.
Now, listen,
I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. Now, I know you for a couple of years, and I know that it takes a lot to offend you, and that's why you and I are friends, Nichelle. And I know you must love Mariah Carey, because I love her. She's in my opinion, she's one of the greatest singers of all time.
Absolutely.
But with that said, she ain't 25. This isn't a video outside an amusement park like she did with Tommy Mottola. You cannot walk out wearing what she wore and say, this looks good. You just can't.
Well, I can.
You thought she looked good?
Listen, okay, I will say this. Would I like my friends to walk out in that? Probably not. But listen, it's Mariah. She's a performer. We know who she is, and we know what she's going to bring. So that stuff doesn't shock me. It just is what it is. I mean, yes, you get to a certain age where maybe you have to start covering it up a little bit more.
Right.
But listen, the lady looks darn good. She's 44, 45 years old. She looks great. Why not? I mean, and she still has a 3-octave range. So come on.
We'll cut her some slack. She also has a team of people who no doubt just yes her to death.
That I think is more so of what starts to really get to these celebrities than anything else. I mean, you got to have at least one person around you that says, snap out of it, baby.
Right.
Let's get to reality and let's really talk about, what we need to do here, what's going on here, and not just, yes, people to death. And Mariah does have an entourage around her. I mean, honey, she likes her folks, okay? She likes her people around her. She has somebody who opens her champagne for her. She has somebody who, fans her with a fan if she gets hot. So she does like her people around her taking care of her. I just want someone that says, check yourself.
You think there's any listen, you're a fan of hers, I'm a fan of hers, you think she's great, but for people who are not diehard fans of hers or watching the millions New Year's Eve and saw her, the way she reacted, the whole deal, do you think there's some backlash where she'll lose potential fans from what happened a couple of nights ago?
Well, no, only because, Mariah's not a new artist. You know what I'm saying? Mariah has been around for, for...
Yes, but let me tell you something, Nichelle. As you know, I've got a 12-year-old daughter, Ava. She did not know about Mariah Carey. She watched the ball job with me and Danielle. She watched Mariah, and she said, what is so good about this lady? So there's a legion of new young fans.
That's a good point. It's a good point. So, maybe you're right. Mariah took a beating on Twitter after that. She took a beating for this. And, her diehard fans are her lambs, and she can do no wrong to them. She's going to, whatever Mariah does, it doesn't matter. But maybe you're right. Maybe there are people out there who are saying, all right, Mariah, we put up with your antics for, long enough. I'm out. I'm done. I do think that the response she had after the performance, where she came out and sent out a tweet and said, what happened? I'm going to make some more headlines in 2017. Let's move on. I actually thought that was a great response. If she would have left it there, I think that we all could have had a good laugh about it. It was self-deprecating. We could have said, all right, Mariah, come on and redeem yourself. But then her camp started going on saying they sabotaged us. They set us up to fail, which are big accusations to Dick Clark Productions that they sabotaged an artist. That kind of blew me away when I heard that. Then I started saying, oh, boy. And then we saw the backlash because they were saying, oh, you're not going to put us out there and try to make us look like we're out to sabotage artists. So then that's when the mud started flying.
It got very ugly. It got very, which, by the way, I have to tell you, I kind of like that, though. To be quite honest with you, Nichelle. Nichelle Turner from CNN, Entertainment Tonight, HLN Showbiz, etc., all over the place. Former sports reporter, by the way. Listen, to switch gears a little bit, 2016 was a rough year for celebrities. We lost a lot.
Yeah, we did.
And just very recently, George Michael, Debbie Reynolds, and Carrie Fisher. Now, everybody said about that, but we like to cut to controversy here. So Steve Martin tweets out. Steve Martin, the famed, noted, beloved actor, he tweets out, when I was a young man, Carrie Fisher, she was the most beautiful creature I had ever seen. She turned out to be witty and bright as well. Well, he had to actually delete the tweet because he was called a sexist SOB. He was just crucified on Twitter for praising Carrie Fisher's looks.
Yeah, you said just a little bit ago, said that I'm not easily offended.
Right.
And I wasn't offended by that at all. Actually, when I read that, I thought it was nice. I thought he was saying, it was kind of like don't judge a book by its cover. He was kind of saying, when I saw her, I just thought she was a pretty girl. And then it turned out that she's pretty and beautiful and smart and amazing and everything. That's kind of how I read that. I think people take things any which way. I said something the other day, and people lost their mind, thought I was saying, I think actually it was about Mariah. They were saying, she lip synced, you didn't say, people can say whatever. 15% of the people out there are going to hear you say something, they're going to hate it immediately. It doesn't matter. But I really didn't think he was being sexist. I didn't think he was, saying anything that was disrespectful. I thought he was actually saying something that was very lovely. I saw her. I thought she was beautiful when I got to know her. I said, yeah, she's beautiful, but she's also smart and funny and fun and witty. I thought that was very nice.
If Cher tweeted something like that about, say, Brad Pitt, for example, nobody would say boo, but the other way around, apparently these days you can't compliment a woman.
Although, listen, I don't know who you voted for, Nichelle, I'm going to assume, like I did, I voted for Hillary. But I will say this, I do remember early on, very early on during the primaries, you were one of the first people I saw interview Donald Trump. And I didn't think you really liked him much. I don't know that before you met him, but you sat down with him, and I'm telling you, I don't care if it's Sean Hannity or Bill O'Reilly or Anderson Cooper. I thought your interview was one of the best because he was very open with you. You were kind of open with him, and you can tell there was a little bit of stress there, but it worked out great.
Well, I will say this, and I maintain this, whatever, people think about Donald Trump, and I don't really put my political views out there one way or another. I expected 10 minutes with him. He gave me 30 minutes. He didn't shy away from any question that I asked. I asked everything. He didn't say, don't ask me anything. He didn't, get upset. I didn't hear any backlash from it. I think I asked him tough questions, and, I don't think I always got the answers, but I definitely think he sat there and went back and forth with me, so I have to respect that as an interviewer. It's been a very interesting time. I will say, since that point, I think there's been a lot of really interesting things that he said. He wasn't saying all the things that he said when I first sat down with him. So if I sat down with him today, I think it would be an entirely different conversation.
Right. But with that said, you interview all these celebrities every single night between Entertainment Tonight and HLN Showbiz. If you were Charlie Sheen, for example, then I didn't vote for Trump either. You can't wish the guy dead. I mean, that's ridiculous.
No, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I think that first of all, we still have to have a decorum for the office of the president, and number one, and number two, I think that it just reinforces what some of Mid-America, actually a lot of Mid-America, thinks about Hollywood. They think, left-wing liberals out there, this, that, and the other, all entitled brats, and I think that just reinforces it. I mean, you can have healthy disagreement and healthy discourse and not care one bit about somebody, but you don't wish them dead.
No. Well, he ain't. Charlie Sheen ain't right in the head, but we know that. Hey, but here's a tough question. Nichelle Turner, a premier entertainment correspondent, the Trump inauguration. A lot of celebrities, Garth Brooks, Celine Dion, Elton John, Andrea Bocelli. Yeah. They say they will not perform. They were invited, and they said, no, I'm not going to do it. And Andrea Bocelli, he's a disabled immigrant, for God's sake. You would think that was like the perfect invitations. What are your thoughts on this seeming boycott of the Trump inauguration by celebrities?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's a partisan issue. I do think that it's a Trump issue. And I think it's really interesting because if you think about it, coming into this, the celebrity that Donald Trump had, he should be able to get anybody,
right,
just on his celebrity alone. So I think that Hollywood is making a real statement and drawing a real line here because, I mean, even members of the groups that he did get are speaking out saying, we don't want to come. So, I mean, it's really saying something. I think, though, that it actually may reinforce the rhetoric that he kind of was saying throughout the campaign because you have Hollywood, who he was calling the elite, saying we don't want to have anything to do with you, and Mid-America saying, well, we don't care anyway. We are the people. We're the working people. We're behind you. We're the blue collars. And so I think that it may actually be reinforcing that. Now,
but shouldn't they do it for the sake of the country? Come together. The guy was elected.
Well, I also think there's something called First Amendment rights and, free speech, right to free speech. So, no, I don't necessarily think they should do it for the sake of the country. I would say this, myself, I do think there's a certain honor in performing for a president.
Sure.
But do you have to stand on your beliefs? Yes. And if you absolutely abhor someone, then I'm not going to stand in front of you and sing for you.
Listen.
If I absolutely abhor you and I think that all these things about you. However, I think it's kind of sad, actually, that all these people are saying no, and turning their back on him. So sometimes it might have to give you a gut check. Now, having said that, I do think Jackie Ivanko, I think she's a beautiful singer, and I think she's going to do a wonderful job. Now, having said that, I mean, when you think about the last inauguration, you had Beyonce and Kelly Clarkson.
Right. But if the Patriots said, "Wait, look, we're not going to Obama's White House because we don't like him," they'd say that's racist.
Well, there were some that said that.
Right, they did. They actually did. Oh, listen, we got to run here 30 seconds ago, but we made you a promise. We're going to go back to the promise. You wanted to talk football. We know, of course, you're a proud Missouri Tiger.
I'm a Chiefs fan, baby.
I know. So Monday night, Alabama-Clemson. Does Nick Saban do it again?
Oh, this is going to be a good one. First of all, it was a good one before. It's going to be a good one again. You know what I'm going to do? Because I like Nick Saban very much. I actually liked him. I covered him when he was the coach at LSU when I was in New Orleans. But I have to not forget where my bread is buttered, and I have to stick by Nancy O'Dell's side, who is a Clemson diehard.
Wow.
And they are the Tigers. So I'm going to stick with the Tigers.
All right. That's loyalty. That's loyalty.
There you go. There you
I'm
go.
going to go with Clemson this year. Listen, they got to redeem themselves, first of all,
Right.
from last year. And I think they're just that hungry and have just enough of a chip on their shoulder that they will do it. However, I will say that game last night, oh, my God.
That was crazy. The Rose Bowl.
Oh,
yeah,
my
that was a
God.
crazy
Good
game. Great
game. Good
Oh,
game.
my God.
Well, Nichelle Turner, you're a great guest.
Fantastic.
From
Thanks
CNN.
for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
The pleasure is all ours. Entertainment Tonight. We appreciate it very much, Nichelle.
Excellent job.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we'll
Happy
talk to
New
you
Year to you all, too.
down
Thank
the
you.
line. Bernie and Sid back after this.
They're gonna kill the love of my life if I don't go back to what I was doing.
On February 24th.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me, then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous.
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain for love.
Collide. In theaters February 24th. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.